Okay, I'm going to jump off and we'll start. Okay, so thank you everyone for being here. Um, we're working here with YouTube Live, which means that we're not going to be able to interact like a Zoom call. I'm not sure if everyone knows that, but there is a chat. And if you could just put your comments or your questions in the chat, that would be great. I am going to go through things first before I am able to address any questions or concerns. But the one thing in particular that will make this work is if you just participate. Just like really look in your life and see how this shows up. So here we go. I'm really glad that you all were able to make it here today. We are going to jump in, and I want you to imagine something. You're driving home, you're exhausted, and out of nowhere, some aggressive driver cuts in front of you and slams on their brakes. You almost get into an accident. Notice what happens inside your body in that exact second. Can you imagine what happens inside your body? Is there a sudden flare of heat in your chest? Is your heart pounding? Are your hands gripping onto the wheel? Does your breath kind of lock up inside of you? Are your hands getting sweaty? Notice how you react. That reaction, you didn't choose it. You didn't just sit there and think, let me make my heart race or make my hands grab onto a steering wheel. Before your mind could even process what was going on, your nervous system kicked in because it was able to run a scan, perceive a threat, and shift your body into protection mode. We all recognize that physical reflex in traffic. But what most of us don't realize is that same exact automatic system is running our emotional lives. When we feel criticized, when we feel ignored, or we feel like we're under pressure, our nervous system steps in to protect us. And it almost always reaches for one of the 4 survival strategies. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with all of them. Most people know 2. There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. So, with flight, with an L, flight in adult life, it's not just kind of running around and running away, right? It's constantly staying busy so you don't have to slow down and feel. It tries to be perfect ahead of time to avoid any criticism. That's kind of what the flight nervous system, how it operates. It is on point. It is going, it's moving forward. Okay? Freeze is more of an invisible shield. It's going blank or going numb during a uncomfortable conversation. It's making yourself small, hoping to blend into the background. That's freeze, is making yourself small. And then fawn is safety through people pleasing. It's tracking everyone else's mood before you check in with yourself. It's saying yes when your body really wants to say no. And you do it just to keep the peace. And then the last one is fight, right? And that's a person who's like defensive. You push people away before they can disappoint you. Okay? So, my question to you is when you are in when you're driving and you almost get into an accident because someone was stepping on their brakes right in front of you, are you the type that is more of we'll start with fight. Are you the fighter? Are you the one that gets defensive? You're going to get in front of them. You're going to slam on your brakes. So you're going to teach them a lesson. That's the fighters. Or are you the one that's more like the fawn, the people pleaser? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get in your way. Even though you weren't in their way, you're more like a people pleaser. Or are you a freeze? Are you the one that just kind of stops? You know, you just kind of freeze up, you're driving, but you're just trying to figure it out, but you're not kind of reacting much. Or are you the flight person? That's the person that pulls to the side, tries to get away, and you avoid. I know I just gave you a lot of information, but the question is, are you more of a fight, a flight, a freeze, or a fawn when it comes to reacting on the freeway? You can put the answer in the chat. Let me see if you guys are responding. What nervous system kicks in when you feel threatened? I don't. Who knew? Sounds like I'm more fawn. Okay, so we have someone who's like accommodating. You know, you don't want any conflict, right? We have a flight. Ramesh is like, I'm going to avoid this. I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not getting into it with this person. Okay. Ramesh, Kartik, are you there? I want to give you a moment. Are you fight? That's the person who's going to like push back. Freeze. That's the person that kind of gets locked up. You kind of like just stay still. Or are you fawn where you people please? Or are you the type that just kind of runs away? That's the flight. Okay. All right. So we're going to keep moving. Thank you, Christina and Ramesh for responding. So one of the things that is important to know is that that's out in the traffic. And what I'm trying to get you to really get in touch with is that our nervous system, it kicks in automatically. And usually, depending on the circumstances, the setting, the people involved, we do have kind of like a go-to setting. So when emotional pressure hits, what do you usually go to? What do you reach for is the question. And the reason why I use the car and traffic is because it's easy for you to kind of get in touch with it, more so than just trying to conjure up something out of thin air. The key thing is these patterns, whether you're fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, they rarely stay the same our entire life. So what kept you safe as a child is very different from the strategy you rely on today. So I want us to do this together right now in the live chat. Think back to when you were young, when things felt emotionally unsafe. Just try to conjure up a time where you just feel like your emotions were being dismissed, ignored, or misunderstood. What was your body's main go-to response? Can you remember? Was it fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. When you were with your caretaker and you didn't get what you needed, which way did your nervous system go? So, Christina, I think this is your new one. Yep. So Christina was a fighter, right? She pushed back. Um, Ramesh is flight. Ramesh avoided. Okay, these are all common ways that kids learn. And remember, they do this through their nervous system. So it's not like they think about this. It comes through their nervous system, how to respond to stay connected when they feel threatened, when they feel like their connection is being challenged. And if you think about your adult life, not in traffic, but just at work, with family, what is your response with your nervous system when you're with family? We have a fight and flight during childhood. The question is not in traffic, but just kind of in your daily life. Are you a fighter, a flighter, a freezer, or a fawn? Anyone? Not in traffic, just kind of in daily life. So Ramesh, I think, oh, nope, yeah, that's still from the last one. It's in between. Okay. So there's a freeze and a flight. That is so great, Ramesh, because yes, there's a hybrid. You can drop into these different nervous system states depending on the situation. But the key thing right now I want you to really get is that this is not something that you're thinking about. Our nervous system kicks in automatically. Christina says it depends on who are the principals, the weight of the situation. Absolutely. But I want you guys to know it's not like you sit there and think, okay, I'm going to tap into my fight right now. No, no, no. Your nervous system kicks in first. And then you decide how you're going to kind of deal with it. But that's only if you know that your nervous system is driving you. If you don't know that your nervous system is driving you, you're just going to act on automatic pilot. You're just going to fight, or you're just going to people please, right? Or you're just going to freeze up. But once you become more aware of your tendency, you'll be able to have more choice. Okay? So, as I said at the top of this talk, this is just a really quick preview. I just wanted you guys to get in touch with your nervous system, how it kicks in. And we did that through the traffic hypothetical. And then we learned that that same kind of automatic response kicks in our adult life, but it started way back when we were kids. When we were young children, there were 4 different categories we could fall into. So I want you guys to know that I was a people pleaser. Next week, when we have our workshop on Saturday, it's 8 o'clock here in Los Angeles, 8 a.m. that is, and all the respective times throughout the country and the world. We're going to look at this deeply. Right now, this is very cursory. So I want to open up the chat. Do you guys have any questions, any comments, anything that you wish we would have talked about, or anything that you discovered newly? I'll wait for the chat to come through. While I'm waiting, I will tell you guys that I started off as a fawn. I was a little people pleaser around the house, trying to stay attached to my mom, right? I'll share more about my mother next week. But when I became a teenager, growing up in New York, I became a fighter. Like you couldn't mess with me. It was not going to be easy. And then as I grew up, moved to Los Angeles, started practicing, started working in a professional realm, I became a flighter where I just kept busy a lot until I learned about nervous systems so that I could better regulate myself and not burn out. So let me check the chat. So let's see. Ramesh, I was getting clear on my automatic response under stress. Okay, that's good. When we become self-aware is key. And we're going to dive into this more next week. Christina says, how do we break those behaviors of immediate reaction? Such a great question. That's a question that will be answered next week. The first step is becoming aware. That is the very first step to being able to regulate yourself in the face of these 4 survival strategies. Let's see, I think identify these nervous system responses. We will go through how we can regulate ourselves. Yes. And I think, Kartik, you're spot on once again. It's really about mindfulness. It's about starting to feel that anger. If you're a fighter, it's starting to feel that heat, that anger, that stuff coming on, and being able to say, oh, there's my automatic response. And this response, I'm seeing it, and I'm now going to choose something different. We're going to go through the exact steps next week, but seeing it is the key, and feeling it in your body is golden, because a lot of people think that like emotions are thought in the mind, but they actually start in the body. We're not taught that here. In America, we're not taught about our nervous system in school. We just are taught to get A's, which is a disservice, but that's a whole different conversation. Okay, let's go back to the comments. Yes, it's a habitual behavior, and it's a habit because we don't realize that we have choice. And next week, I want to be able to give you guys choice points. I want you to see that your flight is starting to come up where you want to avoid. And I want you to see that you do have another option. And we'll look at that a little closer next week. So this is really good, because looking at what I see in the chat, we all have this nervous system. We all have different ways that we approach the same situation. It's just the way that our nervous system learned to adapt, and it's still adapting today. And I want you guys to hear this clearly before we complete this session. These are not personality flaws. Every single one of these strategies developed for a reason. Your body and I did say your body was just trying to keep you safe. These are automatic responses. These are the things that come up first. But once we can identify them, then we can create what's called choice points. We don't have to run with the first thing that comes up. We can recognize it and then choose. Okay? Because we're no longer a child. We're no longer unaware. And you don't have to live on automatic pilot forever. The moment you see your pattern, you begin to gain more power because you can choose a different response. So, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being generous with your sharing in the chat. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.